bet on team to win it all in three-peat. You know, never a doubt used to be a rallying cry, and now it's being played in elevators and orthodontist offices. Across the country. So this is the opposite of bulletin board material. Everyone believes in the Chiefs. Are you worried, and do you think Kansas City is better off being doubted?
Greg, this is why the Chiefs winning this last Super Bowl was bad for business. And I mean it's bad for our business.
Yeah, literally.
It literally, and I don't mean this show specifically, I mean sports media as a whole. Because everyone now has either literally or figuratively bent the knee, and no one wants to doubt them.
I don't know if anyone literally did.
Well, I think a few people did. I think a few people. But 2 years ago, I remember, I think we were still in boxes, my dear saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Tyreek Hill was good." And in that moment, he was trying to convince me that Matt Ryan and the Colts were a real threat, and all these teams that got better, and the Chiefs got worse. That was the conversation.
That was true.
And then Wilds came around. And then last year, the whole sports media world agreed in unison. The Chiefs are cooked.
Yep.
That obviously the Bills are more dangerous. Obviously the Ravens are more dangerous. And you know what? I'd rather play the Chiefs than play the Cleveland Browns with Joe Flacco slinging the ball the way he did. And then everyone looked like fools, except for one or two people, one really. And now no one's going to doubt them. I don't care if they start 0-3. No one is going to doubt them. And so it doesn't matter if they're better off being doubted. They're now undoubtable, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know why they're undoubtable, and I'm not picking the Chiefs just yet.
Well,
But the reason why they're undoubtable is because what he was able to do, and I was one that, doubted them going into the postseason.
More than doubted them, wrote them off.
I did. I pretty much
the ball.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think it's
because what he was going to have to do was so different than what they had ever looked like and what he had ever done. Like, he's always been a fantastic quarterback and somebody that can be counted on in the waning moments of the game. He can win you the game. But to carry a team, to get guys who hadn't performed at the level that was needed all season long to finally, just lock in for me. One game at a time, 4 quarters. Just catch the ball, get down, convert, step your game up a little bit. Patrick Mahomes was able to do that with a lesser talented roster last year than we had ever seen him with. And now, obviously, you add a couple pieces around him. Yeah. Based off what they did last year, it's like, yeah, okay.
I do think he needs a little bit of it, though, don't you?
What do you mean?
That Mahomes needs a little bit of chip on his shoulder, and I don't know if he has it. We have the bulletin board, but...
No, I don't, because arguably the best year he ever played was the Super Bowl defense. When nobody doubted him, when he was running away with MVP until he sat at the very end of the year. They were 14-1 when he played, and there were no questions. It still had Tyreek. Here's the problem, I think. Like, when we look back on what was the analysis of last football season, the reason people thought the Chiefs couldn't win, it'd be one thing was like, guys, this defense is too bad. I don't care how great Mahomes is. He's not on the field when the defense is out there. This defense is allowing 40 points a game. He can't overcome it.
Yeah.
The analysis behind the Chiefs being bad was what Wild said right there. Their passing game wasn't going to be good enough. And that...
Well, they had the most drops in 3 years. They lost the Lions game because of a drop. They lost the Packers game because of a drop. Kadarius Toney's doing silly stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily Mahomes-centric. I don't think any of us said Mahomes can't get it done. It was the guys he's throwing to are literally dropping the ball and giving games away.
I didn't say anyone's name. It was that the people really convinced themselves that the Chiefs' defense was good enough to win a championship. The coach was good enough to win a championship. Their running back, nobody was like, the running game stinks. Yeah. The running game was going to win a championship. The Achilles heel for the Chiefs was going to be their passing game. And everyone thought it. And now I think people look back on it and they're like, well, that was dumb. We shouldn't have thought that.
No.
So now, it was definitively dumb.
No.
What do you mean no?
No, because if we look at what transpired over the course of the season, like we had records to show they're just not good enough.
They dropped the ball.
Okay.
They dropped.
Simply.
Did that end up being right or wrong? I'm just curious.
It got corrected.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Yes,
That's
it did.
The thing is this.
It completely got corrected.
One of their receivers fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line going into the end zone in the playoffs. It did not get corrected. It was just overwrought the whole time. And the idea that guy behind Wild's head wasn't going, the idea that what you described, that it was a surprise, was, in my opinion, foolish. That maybe the greatest player we've ever seen at his athletic peak wasn't going to rally everyone to a higher level. That's what all-time greats do. And so the fact that the doubt centered around something that Patrick was in control of, not like when offensive line's all injured or the defense can't get a stop, something that he has direct control over, was ridiculous.
And control over guys.
Exactly. Now, I know you had the never a doubt all last year, but based off of what you saw when you were in your home watching your Chiefs play, you knew this was going to be the most challenging playoff run that they were going to experience.
The most challenging is different than can't win.
Well, of course you weren't going to give up on them because you couldn't.
No, because it would have been ridiculous. Because across the history of sports, if any scenario is the team has one of the greatest coaches ever, one of the greatest players ever, and the side of the ball he doesn't play on is the best they've ever had, that team would always be considered, if not the favorite, a second or third. And people lost their minds briefly, which maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll happen again, because it seems like we're not even in agreement that last year's doubt was foolish.
The reason why people lost their mind, I'm going to speak for me, because football is so unique. It's a one or done. It's a hit or miss. Like, you don't get a second game to get it right in the postseason. And so all of a sudden, I'm supposed to dismiss everything that we saw all season long and believe, you know what? I know Patrick Mahomes is the best player in this game, but is he good enough to where he can just do it by himself? And that for me is why it was, no, he wasn't. But somehow everybody else started to elevate their level of play.
But in order to believe that had to happen, you had to dismiss already everything you had seen prior. You had to dismiss all the playoff runs. You had to dismiss the way the team changes, all of it in the postseason. And to answer Wild's point, all of a sudden he's making guys catch the ball. All of a sudden he's throwing exclusively to Travis Kelce or to guys wide open. All of a sudden, yes, he is adjusting and making things simpler. Yeah, that's what happened. But I do hope they're doubted again. I just doubt it'll happen.
No one. So does that mean? Okay. Yeah. Is Steph opening the door to leaving Golden State? That's next on FS1 and Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.